Good morning and welcome to today's Facecast. Today we're in the letter to the Ephesians. St. Paul is writing to the church in Ephesus in Turkey, and he's instructing them on the ways that they should be living, the things that they should be doing, the type of attitudes they should be having. And he's instructing them and warning them. He talks about family relationships, how they should be getting on with each other, how they should be regarding and treating each other respectfully. And then he talks about the world that they're living in and how things will be. And in the midst of all of this, talking about how they should conduct their society, he says this. It's a very profound sentence or verse of scripture. This is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. And it says this. Our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Now that's a bold statement to make. What is it that he's talking about? What is it that he's saying? In fact, it begins, and I didn't read it correctly, for our struggle is. So in other words, all these things that he said beforehand are important because this struggle he talks about. Because our struggle is not about or against the things that we see day to day, not necessarily about the things we see reported in the press, although it might be. It might be some things we see on the news that's going on in the world, but there's another battle that's going, a battle that's going on, a spiritual battle that we don't necessarily see on a day to day. We might see some of the effects of it. We might see broken people, damaged, wounded, hurt people. And they are the result of what's been going on in the spiritual realms, which have been manifest in the physical realms of life. We may see on our news reports suffering of people around the world. Again, a physical, real-life manifestation of something that's going on in another place. There's a war going on, but not one you'll hear about necessarily on the nightly news. In fact, the nightly news and the world in which we live today will want to ignore this war as long as it possibly can and deny that it's actually happening. So what is this war and where is it being fought? It's being fought in the heavenly realms. So this is something spiritual. It's about the fight between good and evil. It's the fight between Jesus sacrificing himself and going to the cross for our sakes as a sign, a symbol, a token of redemption for us. That we might, if we believe in him and his ways and follow his ways for living, we might be saved from the darkness of this world, the sinfulness. Not saved physically in this world, but saved spiritually in the next. There's a lot to get our heads around there, isn't there? It takes a lot of more reading through the New Testament to figure out what's going on, and all those sermons you need to listen to about how we should be living and why, and the battle in the spiritual realm. But this is what St. Paul is talking about. Our battle is not against the rulers, authorities, or powers of this world, even though some of those are corrupt and evil, but against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms that will manifest their presence in this world through all kinds of wrongdoing, which we call sin. That's what it's about. That's a 2-minute summation of this passage. But as I said, it takes a much longer time to get to grips with not only what it's saying, but what its implications are for all of us. I encourage you to read it and read around it and read commentaries on it and discuss it between yourselves. Have a go. See you soon. Bye for now.